sorrow. I forget what I was trying to say. I no longer do what I was gonna do, but you're no good for me. That's why me know set me if it could flee. Me I fi take away me say. Me I fi take away me say. Me I fi hide like a thief in the night. Me I fi get out of sight. Me I fi take away me say. I fi take away myself. I have to utilize I weeds. Surely I leave her I said, yeah. I find you very hard to resist. With this relationship I'm gonna desist. But how can I face you when all I wanna do is just taste you? I know you think I play me, I play, but soon you're gonna see the light of day. Just relax, don't move an inch. I'll be gone in a pinch. May I feel take away myself. May I feel take away myself. May I feel hide like a thief in the night. May I feel get out of sight. May I feel take away myself. Take away myself. I have to utilize I will. Surely I are clean berries. I say, yeah, yeah. Been there, done that, don't need it again, yeah. I'm not a masochist who won't play your game, yeah. To all you move your arm, me way to the core. Sayonara, the hot girl gone through the door. Take away ourselves. Ah, yeah, 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 yeah. Stand up, everybody, girl, let me take me ourselves. Yeah, take me ourselves. Stand up, everybody, girl, let me take me ourselves.
Greetings, kings and queens. Welcome to another Real Stuff podcast. This is Franco. I'll be linking up with Flavors in a few minutes. Today we have a special guest. We would say returning guest, Mrs. Cynthia P. Cooke, OD, JP, and she will be doing our chat session this morning. So stick around, don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Pam Hall, and I'm inviting you to hang out with Flavius and Franco on the Real Stuff podcast. They're such great company.
Love them, they are our children, and if we love them, we will never lose them. Love them, they are our children, and it's our duty to guide and protect them. We gotta teach the children right from wrong. So let's be careful what we say in our songs. Let them know just where we're coming from, and how hard we had to fight for freedom. Let them know and understand. They are the next generation. Teach them wisdom, so they may overcome. Love them, they are our children, and if we love them, we will never lose them. Love them, they are our children, and it's our duty it's not too late for all of us to make a start. Cause each and every one has got to play their part. The little children live what they learn. So we should all be concerned. Teach them the right thing instead of forcing and fighting. Tell them the gun thing, it is no plaything. Love them, they are our children, and if we love them, we will never abuse them. Love them, they are our children, and it's our duty to guide and protect them.
The music of Jah Abeng, love them. We got to teach the children right, because they are the future. We have with us Flavius on the line. Greetings, Flavius.
Morning, Franco. Morning, listeners. Another week, another Monday. Very good. I had some serious rain all night last night.
Good for you,
I
man.
don't know
Good for
where
you.
it came from, but it came.
Good for you. You need the rain. You guys need the rain. Some people are experiencing cold
Don't get me
weather.
wrong, man. I'm not complaining.
Frozen.
I love the rain. But it was so unexpected, you know, because we had about 4 days of sunshine, you know.
Talk
So
about
it
climate
was
change.
very strange. Way in the night it started. And it started very, yeah, man, it was very hard. Rough rain, man.
Well, the farmers, them supposed to be smiling. Your farmers should be smiling. Are you hearing me, Flavius? Like we lost Flavius here, you know. So, in the meantime, I'm going to give you another song. This one named Speak the Truth. And it's also from the artist Jabeng, coming out of Portland, Jamaica. Big things are going on in Portland.
Yeah, now, yeah. I just speak the truth. It will set you free. Free your mind from mental slavery. Just speak the truth. It will set you free. Forget your pride, just keep your dignity. Don't be afraid to talk. Speak for what you want. Speak from the heart and express your thoughts. No one knows the pain you feel if you don't share it. Untreated wound will never heal. You've got to care it. Take good care of the tree while it's young, so it grows up to be the tree you want it to become. And if anything goes wrong, you can say your best. You've never done. Speak the truth. It will set you free. Free your mind from mental slavery. Just speak the truth. It will set you free. Forget your pride, just keep your dignity. It's time we stop pretending, cause we all know what's happening. There's a hole somewhere in the system and it's leaking. We must stand up for justice. We must stand up for peace. Let's find a way to make this violence decrease. your pride when true feelings can no longer hide. No one knows the pain you feel if you don't share it. So once you know the truth, you must reveal it. Speak the truth, it will set you free. Free your mind from mental slavery. Just speak the truth, it will set you free. Forget your pride, just keep your dignity. Just speak the truth, it will set you free. Free your mind from mental slavery. Just speak the truth, it will set you free. Forget your pride, just keep your dignity. Yeah, now.
Yes, big tune coming out of Portland, Jamaica. Speak the truth. Want to big up Michael and Tony Bell this morning and all the crew over there in Portland. I mean, you guys are putting out some good tunes, inspirational. Continue to do the good work. I want you to hear this instrumental, and it's Redemption Song. And it's a different flavor, different blend, so listen to it. Yes, Redemption Song. And this one we call it Calypso Mentor. Beautiful, Michael, beautiful. You and the crew in Portland this morning. Miss Lee, And I want to send a special big up also to the cameraman Chinaman and to Jati, all my Portland brethren and sisters. Big ups this morning. Getting ready for Flavius with Did You Know?
Nevis is a small island in the Caribbean Sea that forms part of the inner arc of the Leeward Islands chain of the West Indies. Nevis and the neighboring island of St. Kitts constitute one country, the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. Nevis is located near the northern end of the Lesser Antilles, about 350 kilometers or 220 miles east of Puerto Rico, and 80 kilometers or 50 miles west of Antigua. Its area is 93 square kilometers or 36 square miles, and the capital is Charlestown. St. Kitts and Nevis are separated by a shallow 3-kilometer or 2-mile channel known as the Narrows. Nevis is roughly conical in shape with a volcano known as Nevis Peak at its center. The island is fringed on its western and northern coastlines by sandy beaches, which are composed of a mixture of white coral sand and brown and black sand, which is eroded and washed down from the volcanic rocks that make up the island. The gentle sloping coastline plain has natural freshwater springs as well as non-potable volcanic hot springs, especially among the western coast. The island was named Kwalai, Land of Beautiful Waters, by the Caribs, and Dulcina, Sweet Island, by the early British settlers. The name Nevis is derived from the Spanish Nuestra Senora de las Nieves, which means Our Lady of the Snows. The name first appeared on maps in the 16th century. Nevis is also known by Queen of the Caribs, which it earns in the 18th century when its sugar plantations created much wealth for the British. Nevis is of particular historical significance to Americans because it was the birthplace and early childhood home of Alexander Hamilton. For the British, Nevis is the place where Horatio Nelson was stationed as a young sea captain, and is where he met and married a Nevisian, Frances Nesbet, the young widow of a plantation owner. The majority of the approximately 12,000 Nevisians are of primary African descent, with notable British, Portuguese, and Lebanese minority communities. English is the official language, and the literacy rate is a stunning 98%. It is one of the highest in the Western Hemisphere. And that's Did You Know for today.
Did You Know is brought to you courtesy of Slowly Jamaica, uniquely Caribbean. So in case you didn't know, now you know.
walking on sand and holding your hand. Feel like a tourist in my own homeland, in my own homeland. Enjoying the bright, the warm sunlight. Oh my God, what a beautiful sight in my own homeland. This place is so nice, wanna do everything twice. Yes, I feel as if I'm in a paradise. No matter the season, you've got every reason. This place is another little heaven. East or west, I couldn't care less. Ooh, this place, it is definitely blessed. My own homeland. North or south, feel free to wander about. You can jump, dance, or sing and shout in my own homeland. Give yourself a treat, a few days or a week, and you will see just what I mean. Just take my advice, so everyone is nice. You feel like royalty, my friend.
Yes, Flavius.
Yes, I am back.
You're always here, man. Yeah, did you know peace this morning?
The rain is back too.
Yeah, did you know peace this morning?
Yes. Today and tomorrow, probably on Wednesday, we are actually speaking about twin island states in the Caribbean. But what you find is that the bigger island, the one that comes first in the name, get the most prominence.
Okay.
So we are actually exploring the second island in the twin. Like this morning, we spoke about Nevis as part of St. Kitts and Nevis. But, most time you hear about St. Kitts. And then we have Trinidad and Tobago. Everybody knows about Trinidad. Sometimes you even leave off the Tobago. And same thing for Antigua Barbuda. So we will be looking on the smaller island. Because the second island is normally the smaller one. And tell you a little bit about these smaller islands as part of the Twin Islands states.
Okay, that sounds good. For the Twin Islands.
That's what, because they're very powerful Twin Islands, and each island has its own uniqueness and need to be spoken about. You can really. In fact. Tomorrow we're going to speak more about like Barbuda, from Antigua Barbuda, which is a very interesting story. And what you also find is that the second island is usually somewhat different from the main island.
I'm chuckling because I had a friend once. I say had because he died years ago. And he was from Barbuda. Okay. So we had a giveaway one night on the radio station. And we asked the question, who can guess in which one of the Caribbean country Raswang was born? And for most people who knew him, called in and said, Antigua, Antigua, Antigua. And he kept saying, no, no one. I mean, it had one heated discussion that some people start, curse him out. So we say, you know what, this is very interesting. So we're going to continue it for the next week. And then the next week now, we had the giveaway. And when he said to them, he was born in Barbuda, man, even the studio catch a fire. because his mom even call in and say, you're wrong. I'm the one who birthed you. And your birth paper, it say Antigua Barbuda. He said, no, Barbuda, me born in.
Well, the country, name of the country is Antigua Barbuda.
Yeah, but
Antigua and Barbuda.
So that's one joke we had, by the way,
So, these people are very fierce with that people don't recognize we're athletes.
Okay.
And if you listen today, you realize that it says Nevis has 98% literacy in the Western Hemisphere.
True.
So you can imagine. Yeah, man. So we need to know a little bit more about these small islands, because even Grenada, people say Grenada, but it's Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. It's actually 3 islands.
Okay. Didn't know that either.
And then, and then St. Vincent now. St. Vincent is St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And the Grenadines is about 12 or so islands.
Wow.
Yeah, man. And St. Vincent is totally black sand. But when you go to the Grenadines, totally white sand.
Okay, I get you. Yeah. Anyway, today...
And of course, Bahamas is 700 islands.
All right. Anyway, today I just want our viewers, our listeners to know that at this time we would be bringing in Teddy Ladley with the really current news coming out of Jamaica, the Caribbean, and the world. But today we have a special edition, and the special guest this morning is Miss Cynthia P. Cooke, ODJP. Last week we had her on, and we had some problems, so we decided to bring her forward her, as Pam Hall would say. We are forward her again. And this time, for those who were in other parts of the world and couldn't, catch it the right way, today I hope you will be able to get it. So, Cherry Natural is going to give us a song or a poet before we bring in Miss Cynthia P. Cooke. So, Cherry, take it away now.
Anger and nervous finger is a recipe for total disaster. If you have a dispute with a friend or a family member, stay far from social media. When the adrenaline rush to your brain, just keep calm and remain sane. Don't react too quick, you will get caught with the insecure matrix. When head chip, vengeance cast loose tongue to slip. So before you spit, edit the script. Gossip is toxic. Gossip is toxic. The only thing it creates is shame and regrets. Life is like a boomerang. The cause return with the effects. So think before you post. One click, like magic, the whole of your business exposed. No one cares about the source or who you be. Public opinions will tie you up into a verbal knot and bore holes into your stories. Excavate your past mistakes and bring your darkest secrets to the surface. Life comes with conditions and conflicts. Closets are filled to the brim with dirty linens. Wash them at home, not in the public. Taking down someone with a post on Instagram to stroke your ego might go viral, but it won't make you into a hero. You become a rival, putting unnecessary pressure on your survival. When finger press sent, prepare for the consequence. you are going to need a parachute. Cause when the feces hits the fan, you're going down too. You're going down too. Even if you know it's the truth, mum is the word. Sometimes it's best to stay mute. So think before you post. One click like magic, the whole of your business exposed. No one cares about the source or who you be. Public opinions will tie you up into a verbal knot and bore holes into your stories. Excavate your past mistakes and bring your darkest secrets to the surface. Bring your darkest secrets to the surface. Using words as weapon to win your wars will only leave victims with internal scars. Nobody wins. Words are not just wind. Words are swords with sharp blades, ready to cut your character into thousands of little pieces as it pleases. When the damage is done, it's going to take amnesia to forget and courage to forgive. Loyalty, don't betray, even if you disagree. Trust don't need an audience. It's a pact you make with self. The tongue don't have a mind of its own. It loses control when there is no conscious weapon to win your wars. Will only leave victims with internal scars. Nobody wins. Words are not just wind. Words are swords with sharp blades, ready to cut your character into thousands of little pieces as it pleases. When the damage is done, it's going to take amnesia to forget and courage to forgive. Loyalty, don't betray, even if you disagree. Trust don't need an audience. It's a pact you make with self. The tongue don't have a mind of its own. It loses control when there is no consciousness. Love is unconditional. Love is unconditional. It comes with no pretense. Success is the only revenge.
Real Stuff Podcast fans, subscribers worldwide. They always have a saying that lightning never strike the same place twice. But we are fortunate to have with us once again Mrs. Cynthia P. Cooke, OD, JP, Educator, and also the General Secretary of Racers Track Club. With us, as Pam Hall would say, she forward again to give us another segment of the real stuff. So, greetings, Cynthia, welcome again.
Greetings.
Yeah, I must say that this instrumental, when I first heard it, I was melted. I was blown away because I never hear it done in a mental fashion yet. and it's from Michael Anthony Bell. He wanted to be here with us this morning, but he's tied up doing some other work. So he said he wants to let you know that this is my gift, because it is her and Mr. Mills' love why it is all happening. So
Well, that's good.
yeah, Michael Anthony Bell.
Gratitude is a must.
I'm telling you.
Oh, yes.
So we have you once again, us, and this time we know it's going to be nice, same way.
Nice, sir.
I mean,
Nice, sir.
Long time we don't have no nice time, eh?
Yeah.
So Flavius, I'm going to make you kick it off. Go ahead.
Well, with your long, illustrious career, take us to the beginning.
Beginning of what? Which career? I have lots.
No, take us to the beginning of Cynthia.
Beginning of Cynthia P. Cooke, born on the 15th of December. Born on the 15th of December, 1949, to Pearline Warren, a housewife, and Theophilus Warren. At that time, what was he? Maybe a construction worker or maybe a mechanic or whatever, but he evolved over the years. He was an orphan at about 7 years old, so it was just he and his sister. So he was curious like myself, so he wanted to know everything. So he studied at after his parents both died. His aunt looked after him from the U.S. and sent all that he needed, and they went from boarding house to boarding house. But they didn't want to send him to high school, although his aunt sent the money and all that. His relatives eat out the money, those kind of things. But he sent himself to high school, Buxton College. He started there.
I remember that school, yes.
Yes, and they had a song, Buxton College, I have no knowledge. But he progressed, and he loved to do stuff like make drawings of machines and trying to invent machines all the time. That was his love, and he had to have a motor car all the time. He was a man who had no money in his pocket, but his lifestyle in his head was a rich man. But there are 9 of us.
I believe that too.
I was number 3, first girl, 2 boys before me, 1 after me. So I learned a lot I was properly socialized in a family of 9 children. My friends used to say we have a football team, 9 children and the 2 parents. So there was lots of things that you learn. And everything that I did on my way up, it accumulated to who I am now. And I think, understanding that kind of thing helps you to move from one level to the next, and realizing that everything that happened in your life made you who you are today. And there's always a teaching learning moment all the time. So as an educator, I understand that education, based on the meaning, is supposed to cause a change in behavior. And it's not just a change in behavior for the educatee, but for the educator also. And if children say they like being with me, I like being with them also. And just as how they think they were learning from me, I was learning a whole heap of things from them. Whole heap of things. And maybe I was being prepared to lead, but I never knew. Because as a child at St. George's Girls' School, that was one of my primary schools, because I started out at Elliston Primary. I spent a few weeks there, and my mother went to the country for a while. I don't remember all the dynamics involved in that, but I know it was not a year, and I know it was not 1 week, because when I went there, they put me in A class, and after 1 week in A class, I was in B class, and my mother came there to the school, and the next day I was in first class. So I don't know what happened there, but I know that was the story. And it was Harker's Hall Primary in St. Catherine. And we came back to Kingston. You know the place? We came back to Kingston. And I think that is when I went to Elliston Primary. And all of this happened in the same year, you know. And then now, my mother went to St. George's Girls. I don't know if you know about St. George's Girls those days. Every other school primary school wear blue skirt and white blouse, and maybe a little tie. St. George's Girls had green and white gingham plaid tunic.
That's the one on Duke Street, right, Cynthia?
Yeah, man.
Right.
Yeah.
And white. So we were different, and you wear a jippy japper hat. You know what that is?
No.
Jippy japper hat.
Yeah.
With a green ribbon around it.
I have never seen them in the hat. Well, maybe back in your time, but I've never seen them in the hat, you know. Okay.
And the thing about it is that school started in January, and the end of the school year was in December.
Okay.
My mother was there without me and got me in at the beginning of December. So everybody wondered how that happened. Now, my mother is a Browning. She don't even tan with long hair. And that was the typical look of the people who were accepted at St. George's Girls.
Okay.
Freely, right? There are others, but those who just come in and get accepted freely and so on. And you have to go to the infant school, and then you move to the primary school, the primary section of the school. And my mother got me in. No, I don't look like my mother. So the principal was quite disappointed in the person presented. Because I don't look like my mother. My mother always talk about, she don't know where I get my nose from, because her nose straight and my father, you know, have this kind of aquiline features. And she always talk about my nose. She don't know where I get that nose from. So, you know, every time I look in the mirror, what I see? The nose. So,
sure, if I swap you at the hospital.
Right. And also, she used to tell me how she didn't know how to comb my hair. She had to ask somebody to comb my hair because she didn't know how to comb that kind of hair. So this is the picture of this little dry foot, you know, nappy head little girl.
And because you were the first girl too. And because you were the first girl at the 9.
First girl. And she was quite proud of me though, you know. She always talked about her little dark-skinned daughter, you know. Because probably one of the things was that she used to say, I get my father brains, right? Because going to church at Lincoln Kirk, I went as my first Sunday school. You go to big Sunday school when you're either 7 or you can read the Bible. And I was reading the Bible and I was not 7.
Wow.
Everybody was wondering about that, you know. I don't know how that happened, but these are the little things that happened. And when my first basic school that I can remember, Miss Legg School, and I was probably about 6. That is the one I remember well. But there was nothing for them to teach me because I knew everything already. And the person who owned the school, Miss Legg, put me to teach the children. You know, my mother paying for me to go to school, you know. and I was teaching the children.
You get a job.
And I get beaten. I get beaten when I give the children the hard sums. Everything was a sum. In mathematics, everything was a sum. It don't matter whether it have to do with division and multiply, it's a sum. So that was the one I remembered clearly because my mother had my sister about that time, and I'm almost 7 years older than my sister. So that was the first girl so she couldn't play with me. She too little. I was more of a mother to her. So growing up is boys. Boys. I remember one time when we playing cricket, ball for bat.
Yeah.
And if I do better than the boys, them say, go and go wash up the plate. Them run me. I'm not supposed to be doing better than them. Go wash the plate. Another thing I remember that maybe influenced who I became was that when I was at St. George's Girls, on reflection, all the children always coming to me to ask me questions. And as if I was a source of information.
You were Google. You were the Google or the encyclopedia back then.
But all the things that I tell them was not necessarily true. Because I remember them, a little group of them come to me one time and say, it's true that you have to have sex to have a baby? And I just said no, and they took it and gone. That came from...
You remember that the Bible story?
No, that came from the knowledge that I had at that time. But they believed in what I said. And they always came to me, And I liked Friends, but I didn't like Friends because of that. I liked Friends because I love to romp, and play and have a good time. But since then, every time I reflect, I say, why them just used to pick me out and choose to ask me questions? I remember a lady came to school, and I remember her name. I remember the daughter's name. The daughter was Indian. Those days, them call you Coolie Royal.
Coolie Royal, yeah.
Yes, and China Royal, those kind of things. So she was a Coolie Royal. So her hair way down in her back, and her mother dark skin and have very, very short hair, So, the children, our brothers and sisters used to call her Miss whatever. It's not just her name. So she was a prize in the family. Mother come to school to cuss me off. Why? Because I never help our daughter with her homework. I help the other children. And she go and go tell her mother that. No, think of it. And the mother. I remember the girl distinctly. And I remember when she just left school, she get job at Barclays Bank.
Wow.
You hear about Barclays Bank?
Yeah, no, Barclays Bank. Them time colored couldn't work in a Barclays Bank.
She couldn't get a job in Barclays Bank.
No.
I would not be at the front office. I would probably at the back. But she was a Barclays girl.
Okay, how qualified you were back then?
No, but I remember when I was leaving school, my mother used to go to bank and insurance company and all those things, because I tell her I wasn't going to sixth form.
Oh, okay.
To tell them that she have a little dark-skinned daughter. And she think her dark-skinned daughter, she always say dark skin because she's right. And because of that, she didn't take me. She go and she always bringing home these application forms because she knows that I'm qualified.
Yeah.
I never fill out any though. Never fill out any of those. Because going to bank, no sir. I was not interested in that.
Which brings me to a question. When you were at St. George's, what, all age? St. George's Girls, right? All age.
Yeah, St. George's Girls School. They had an infant section and a primary section, yes.
Did you sat the common entrance?
Yeah. Let me tell you, you see, when I went there, and the principal was so upset that I come there and look like that. Every time inspector come, who you think she called to come read and show off your book? You used to have a press book, Everybody had a press book. So that book now keep in a press. So when I used to hear and further information will appear in the press and the radio, I think it's a press like that.
Okay.
I think the press was that. And you have to clean up your book with Milton or some liquid to make sure that everything in the thing was fine. So when you reach fourth class now, you do scholarship. That is what it was called. Scholarship exam. And my mother came there for something. She's always sending from my mother. Every little thing the principal sent from my mother. Because I was very picky about eating, and the food was cooked at the school, not like other primary school where you get bolus lunch from a central canteen.
Yeah.
Who was cooked there, and everybody, either you bring your lunch or you buy the food. And I didn't bring my lunch, and I don't want those food with oil for blacky in the rice. I didn't want that. So my mother come, and then she learned that anybody who's going to do scholarship would have to come to the private lessons in the morning before school, and the teacher taught those private lessons. And it was 2 shillings a week. 2 shillings per week?
Yeah.
My mother came and paid for a month. 8 shillings. I went.
That you can't miss nothing.
I went that first month and I never went back. Because every Monday morning, that 2 shillings, buy a new pen and a chocolate. A new pen down the road and a chocolate. That was what the 2 shillings buy every Monday morning. So I didn't go to any classes. So when the time come now, by the way, you realize I love to tell stories.
Oh, yes, and I'm enjoying it, and I know the viewers and the listeners are enjoying it too as well.
Yes, so when the time come for scholarship entries to go in, you have to bring your birth certificate. Now, remember, I don't go to no private lesson, So that means I have a mark against me. Me is a little black girl. All them marks go against me, So she sent for my mother. She said, my birth certificate too tear up. She cannot send that. So there's a dark skinned teacher who was always in my corner. Anything happened, I run go tell her. So she said, I must go for my mother. And she put me through the gate and I go for my mother. The principal said that she never tell me that. Because the other children there pasting up their birth certificate. Yeah. You take an exercise leaf and you put glue on it and you put your birth certificate and cut it out. To this day, I have that. She said that's what she told me. Nothing ever going on. Anyhow, I came back. So I was entered. And in my class of, I don't remember how many in the class, but those times 3 sit on a bench. Okay? And in my class, there were, I think, 5 people pass. No, in the whole of that private lesson, 5 people pass, and I was one of them. So, me love ramp. I running out to go ramp this evening now, and all the little white-looking girl, them with them long hair and things, pack up the principal office. And then she came out for something, and she said, Miss Warren, you passed. I had no idea what she's talking about. So I never even go home and tell my mother anything, because that was not on my mind. No, later I learned that I passed my exam. I got a scholarship, meaning them give you money for clothes and those things, and you get books and stuff.
Oh, you got the full scholarship.
Full thing. And I went to Camperdown. Why did I go to Camperdown High? My mother really never know too much about which school to pick and so on. But my brother went to Camperdown. How he went to Camperdown? God bless my mother, that little lady, you see. He did the scholarship first.
Okay.
And he didn't get any scholarship. So the Reverend Miller was at Lincoln Kirk those days, and he told my mother to go to the ministry. And she went and she get a half scholarship.
Okay.
And Camperdown was just becoming granting aid. So he told her I must, give her the reference to Camperdown. So he went to Camperdown on a half scholarship. So that is how we knew about Camperdown. And that is why I went to Camperdown.
So in the days when they were filling out the application to do the common entrance, which it never named common entrance back then, right? I guess it did have a different scholarship. Did they have the choices of schools that you could select?
Yes.
Oh, so your mom filled that out?
She just put Camperdown. Some other children, they high-class children, they went to girls' school.
Yeah.
Because we were a girls' school, so they went to girls' school. And me now went to Camperdown.
So were you living near Camperdown at the time too?
Yes, man. I lived on the bottom of Paradise Street.
Okay.
It's honestly, on the bottom part of Hannah Street. But we had a very big property. So we had one, it was 5.5 Hannah Street, but it also had an address on the back, Fisher's Row.
Yeah.
But they just used the front one. So we had every tree in the yard, every single tree you can think
it's
of.
A big yard then, man.
Yes. So you have breadfruit, you have ackee, you have soursop, you can eat.
That's about 2 acres of land you live on that time, man. If you have
I don't know, but I know you could eat.
If it carry over to the next street. That's to be a big man.
Yes. And one time they made all find oil. We were digging a pit on the back and oil came up, and I remember the people from ESO and all those things come and check it out.
Well,
I don't know what happened to that, but oil came up.
Yes, man.
You know, my life colorful.
That me I don't say enough colors in it, yeah. Because living on a property with all the trees, the fruit trees are, you can't
and
think
this is
of.
Kingston.
Exactly.
And this is Kingston. And I remember, so you learn to climb. I remember there was an almond tree, and the almond tree was so smooth, but it was high, so it's difficult to climb. So one day when everybody was not there, I climbed the almond tree, take me time, and I go up, and wouldn't come down until the rest of them come. So when they came home now, after me in this almond tree for such a long time.
So you wanted them to see you up in the almond tree?
Yes, I reached up there. When the outer boy them come home, them one my brother that named Bobby, terrible boy, him say, a lot of you use. That was it. A lot of me use. And I had to come down. That boy, he was a terrible boy, that brother. Because I was black as them call it. 9 of us, 9 different shades. But it looked like the shade between the last one and me was a big jump.
Okay.
As I stood out as a black girl. And they were not considered in that, A little chocolate in the milk.
You weren't a brownie like mommy.
No, me get the whole thing of chocolate. Well, them have, them can diluted and so.
Normally you find one take off for the father or the mother, whichever one have a different complexion. Or walk the same, like mommy or daddy.
There is one that's just as light as my mother. She doesn't tan, just like my mother. And then there is me at the other end.
So your
But
father,
she
how
used to
dark
think
was your
that-
dad? How dark was your dad?
Very dark. Not not what you would say black, 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 but he was dark.
So you could say
And
you're the
my
blend of him
sister-
then?
Yeah. My little sister felt that when she grew big, she going to look like me. She always thought that. She said, when I grow big, I'm going to look like Pam, they used to call me. She still felt that, and she felt good about that.
That's
but
good.
this
She
brother,
idolize you.
this brother, oh my God, them call me monkey. Them call me all kind of something. And him used to say a song, I don't know what to say, the monkey won't do. Until at one time, him just say, no, and boy, did I get into fight you know. Every time him do that. But, that kind of thing, I don't think it affected me. It just made me stronger, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went to St. Aloysius down the road from St. George's.
Yeah.
We have St. George's up the road, and down the road they had Roman Catholic. St. Aloysius for the boys and St. Joseph's for the girls. And the St. George's girls, you're kind of proper. Very proper.
St. Aloysius boys they wear blue tie at the time, right?
I think so.
Yeah, blue ties.
Uh-huh. So things like eating on the streets and those things, you don't do at St. George's.
We're forbidden.
Right. And then them have a little man that sell down at St. Aloysius. Sell a long flour thing named bow.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a dumpling.
Yeah.
But it named bow. And me couldn't eat bow.
Why?
And him teased me about that.
Why you couldn't
because
eat
I
it?
go to St. George. I went to St. George's girl. So everything happened.
So
They
even
used
if you
to
buy it and carry it
tease me.
home, you couldn't eat it?
I'm not doing that. Them just use it to tease me that I can't get any. So he teased me for everything, I tell you. Everything that boy used to tease me about. And, so you learn a lot. You learn about community. You learn about when your mother gone and leave so much money for lunch money. And say, buy something and pick something. And them always want to buy bulla and pear or cook dumpling. But that was not my thing, the old flour. I love the bulla and pear, but you can't do that every day. So something you want to change up,
Why we
and
used
you
to do
cook outside.
we used to do the patty every day, patty and cocoa bread.
That was for school.
Yeah, it could be like, woo. That was like the what you call it, the typical lunch, man.
But
Patty and
when
bun, my friend.
Eh?
Patty and bun.
Patty and bun too.
you have that a patty, chara patty. When we clear chara patty, it was triangular. Chara was on East Queen Street.
Uh-huh.
It was triangular and different from the other patties, and it cost 3 pence. Well, it cost the other patty them was what? Anyway, it was 3 times the price of the other patties. and then the one of the sons came to Camperdown, and we heard that he went to about 3 different schools and was expelled, and then he came to Camperdown. He was fat, but he could run like lightning.
What?
Yeah, man, he was on the sprint relay team. Bob Clark was his name.
When you say fat, define his fatness.
Well, he had, him is a China Royal.
Uh-huh.
So you know that him don't have much derriere.
Uh-huh.
So he was wide.
Okay.
But there was no depth. So he had the girth, but, he was not rotund. But he moved very quick on his feet.
Okay.
His feet was, but he was a bad boy, but if I had him now as a student, I would not consider him a bad boy.
Okay.
I would just find him quite interesting.
Mm-hmm. You have never done that to students who they would say, teacher would say, there goes a bad one, because him hang out with guys on the corner, down what you call it, gully? You know what I'm talking, right? You know the gully I'm talking about.
Listen, the boys that I have that are tending that way, I want to learn about them. So I will chat up with them.
Interesting.
Because if you don't learn about them, how are you going to teach them?
Okay.
So it was quite interesting, some of the boys, especially the Manning Cup boys, when they come from training, me and them used to chat a lot. So if I'm leaving without talking to them, Mr. Gone, they don't talk to us yet. So I was at school quite late in the evening. So I learned a lot from those boys, a lot. I remember one boy telling me, then miss, look how Miss so-and-so look. When she at the blackboard now, how you concentrate? I said, what do you mean by that?
She was too sexy for her clothes.
Not how she look. Not how she look. No, I was not looking at her like that. Obviously.
Students,
but when you understand that these boys have all these hormones running wild, right? And these teachers want to go and stand up in front of them with them like a tight up clothes. None of that.
So did you talk to her about it?
The teacher, of course. And that was a part of my introduction to the new teachers. I tell them that story.
You have to tone it down.
And listen, there's a teacher. Every time she comes to school with her tight pants, I used to send her home. And she tell me, she used to hide and come in. She said she had one class to teach, and she used to just hide and check out if I'm going to see her and walk some long distance to get into the classroom. It reached a point where I bought her clothes because she said, what is in the store is only this and so on. I bought her 3 nice suits. Because since she said she can I see China? Yeah. Lovely lady. But the tight pants thing just don't work,
That's true.
They have some children that going to give you problems. The teachers are a community too. So you're going to have the good, the bad, those rules and those who don't. So you have to treat them in the same way. You deal with them and, you're going to have some who just can't bother. There's a head of department who all she loves do is complain about how the people them done. And them can't do it. And I say, you have them for 5 years? 5 years? What you did? And she would complain about who the teacher done. So as far as I'm concerned, you are in a supervisory position. You are the head of the department. You're supposed to make sure. No, I remember one teacher who she said done. The truth and fact is, she did done.
But wait, but you never want to tell her either, so she done.
I have to help her. And make I tell you, usually, everywhere I go, principal's conference, anytime I go anywhere, I buy a book, and use. When I was teaching math, I did the same thing when I usually buy a book and we learn new ideas and so on. And you realize that it's not only our children done in certain things. The whole world, certain things in mathematics are just indigenous to mathematics. You're just going to find it there, And you realize that is not your children done. So you realize that you have to look at the population that you have in front of you, and you deal with that.
Yes, because I'm gonna butt in here a minute. I remember reading through. I think it was a bio they sent to me that you develop. You develop like a new program every summer for the school year. You want to
Me?
you want to talk on that a little
Every
bit.
year.
Yeah. What is it so much you develop every year a new program like what?
The thing is that at the end of each year, you get a report from the different departments. And I want a detailed report. And especially for the children going into fifth form, the teachers always tell me that them can't go to fifth form because them not going to do well. And that can't work because you don't have any space in fourth form for those coming up if you're going to just keep back and run away and that kind of thing. So every summer, when I go into Mark CXC, I take those reports with me. And during the summer, poor Mrs. Powell from down at Stats used to have to be my partner, try out everything on her. So you try and go through, and then now you have the vice principal. 2 vice principals usually at school during the summer. So you keep in touch with them, you know?
Okay.
And where curriculum is concerned. And I remember one of the major ones is in the beginning, you know, you have science class and business class and arts, and I thought that was stupid. So I decided that everybody must do 5 subjects. Compulsory, you must do that when you're going from 3rd to 4th.
Yeah.
Everybody has to do math, English, a foreign language, a science, and one from history, geography, or religious education, or social studies. Okay. And then you can do any other 2 that you choose. And she said, the timetable can't work like that. I said, well, you will find a way. So I try to find a way when I'm over there, and we keep in touch until we work out a thing.
All right.
So it means that you have to, everybody doing a foreign language. So you have to develop a program for that, you know? So I remember now, you're going to cut out the typewriting thing because everybody needs to learn how to use the computer.
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
every student will learn typewriting. So you learn the keyboard, you learn how to do spreadsheets and those things. So everybody going to that. So you have the teacher, them now have to, the typewriting teachers, you are going to become redundant. So you have to learn to teach everybody the computer, basic computer skills. So
question.
Yeah.
So were the Ministry of Education giving you funds to implement some of these new programs, or so you find the money?
You have to work it out. You have to work it out, right? For instance, a teacher came to me and said she just finished her social studies degree. She teach history. I know she did. It wasn't social studies. What that? When you're social worker.
Okay.
She just got masters and she's now a qualified social worker. So I said, what are we going to do with her now? We say she's a social worker. The school needs social worker. But the ministry is paying you for a social worker.
Okay.
I called in everybody in the department and I said, listen, this teacher can do social work and we need social worker. So what I'm going to ask each person to do in the department is to take 2 of our classes, add on 2 sessions to your session. So you put it in a way that you know they're going to agree. Everybody. So she is now free to do social work. So what I did was you have the dean of discipline. We had dean of discipline before the rest of people, you know, because I felt there was a need for a dean of discipline. So you do the same thing. Take away class from the person and ask others to fill in, and this person became the dean of discipline. And as the time go by, his duties develop, you know?
So you're saying that
evolve.
you're saying that some of what you implement at Camperdown end up becoming a part of the school norm for other schools as well. Them start implementing dean of discipline instead of a guidance counselor.
No, it's not instead of, you know. You have the dean of discipline who's going to deal with the actual outer order business, bad behavior, punishment, and those things. And then when the dean of discipline sees it's recurring, can't manage now, this thing going on too long with the same person. So that person, you send them to the guidance counselor.
Okay.
And then when the guidance counselor now say that they need more behavior management, you need somebody who can go to the homes and evaluate the situation and learn out and decide on what method to take, what is the direction to help this child. So you need a three. You need the dean of discipline, you need the guidance counselor, and you needed the social worker. So that became a team, right?
Wow.
You can't, if you go to ministry with that, them going to start telling you about money.
Yeah, that's
And you're not telling them about the money. All you want them to do is whatever. So you just do it, you know? All you have just before school starts, we have 1 week of seminars. You just do it. You just tell the teacher them have to come them and talk about them. I said, listen, you are paid for June and July and August. You're getting paid for it, right? If the children go on holiday and not you, that is how it works. Holiday is when you're done your work and you go take a break and you are getting paid. So I got them to agree because they saw that it's where it was going, and they also benefit. So everybody
did your member staff consider you a tough cookie to deal with at times?
When I left, them say it's teacher time now. I said them say it's teacher time now.
Franco,
yeah.
Franco, you heard what you said a while ago. A tough cookie of Mrs. Cook.
Because they must know what them is there for. And so when you hear say she is the student, she's always on the side of the student. I would tell, well, if you are not on the side of the student, what on earth are you doing here?
True. You know, that's one of the reasons why I asked you the question the first time you came here, if you have ever met Isaac Henry. Because you seems to have some of the same mindset. I know, 7 brothers, 7 different minds. But some of the stuff that you just mentioned is like I'm looking beyond you and I'm seeing Isaac Henry do the same things that you just mentioned, Created stuff, new programs to help the students, tell teachers that no, them not the pan break, them get paid same way when the students are on summer break.
So anything you're telling them, they must agree. You don't put things on them and then implement it. You have to collaborate, and they have to see what's in it for me. Because you have some teachers, and not only teachers, they complain and they keep complaining. But when you give them a solution, they don't want the solution because what they're going to complain about. So they are satisfied to just keep cussing the picnic them and the picnic them don't and the picnic them this and the picnic them that. What about them? So what are you going to do about it? Some of them feel as if they're teaching desk and chair, That's how they behave.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter who is in there, they are doing the same thing over and over. And then they complain at the end. The children. So what are you going to do about it?
What was your numbers? What was your graduating class numbers of students passing O levels and A levels when you were there? What was your graduating class numbers? Like, say you have 100 students in the graduating class, which is more, and out of that, you have at least 75, 80 of them graduating with honors.
Not many.
Not many? Okay.
I shouldn't say that because the pitney them would have cussed me. But what I can tell you is when I became principal, and the movement, that's why I don't like them cussing the education system. When I became principal, right, the total number in sixth form was about 50 people. About 50. And when I was leaving, the applications, the last set of applications, when we reached 300, we stopped, right? Because we sort of wanted to just have about 100 in lower, 100 in upper. But we end up with like about 300 children in because I told the fifth formers, I said, listen, we don't have the space, but anyhow you pass, we have to find a space and put it on. Everybody from Camperdown must get a space, right? So you see what I'm talking about, coming from like 50?
Yeah.
When I was leaving, the number of children qualified was like 150 to go to sixth form.
That's good.
Right? So but I have to qualify that. We started what is called transitors, 12 transitors. So in order to go to sixth form, first time you can't go to sixth form without maths or English. So I created that class. So if you don't maths or English, you go there, and we assign you to assign a math and English teacher to those classes. Because when you repeat, it's pure idleness if you pass 3 or 4 subjects already, It's pure idleness going on. And then give more problems because they're out of class most of the time.
Yeah.
So it is better to put them on to the sixth form. They qualify on their way up and pass the math and English. So them can go to upper sixth. So they will be doing the subjects like the sixth formers, and that is what I think caused the first boost in numbers in sixth form. So we had these people going up, and I always remember that first transitors. And afterwards, other schools were doing it. As a matter of fact, call it same. The children them would come and them want to apply for 12 transit. I said, what kind of transit? I mean transit. With both bus company you're talking about, we don't have no transit here. But it is a Latin word called transitus.
Okay.
Right? I learned it when remember when I tell you that we moved from twice for the year, other schools, and we didn't move, where you add transitus. The one I was in was transitus. So you don't reach the next class yet, and you're not in second form, but you're not reach third form.
Okay.
So you're in a transitus stage. So that is where I learned the term, and I decided we're going to have 12 transitors.
When you were a part of the Principals Association, did you also help them to implement some of the things that was working at Camperdown in their schools as well?
Everybody, yes. Yeah, man, I'm always telling them what I'm doing.
Okay.
I remember one principal, Cynthia, you have a form for so-and-so, because you always form. I'm always making up these forms, right? I had assessment for the ancillary worker, the admin worker, for the teachers. I had all those forms. So when ministry decides to bring in form, I weigh them against mine, and if them don't look right, I just use my one.
Okay.
So the teachers would know that I have this. So it's not just me alone, because everybody did their, when you talk, you say what you're doing and so on. I remember the year after I became principal, or maybe the same year, at the retreat that we had, my responsibility, because I talked about it in meetings, was to help the principal to be able to visit classes that is not their subject area, and assess those classes. And it don't really need no money to find the things. So I remember carrying like a piece of stick, like a piece of that, and so on to the seminar, and demonstrate it to the principals. Remember, I was a principal for only 1 year. But when I became principal, I was far more equipped than many new principals based on what I had done before.
And the experiences,
Credit union, I was a treasurer. That is the de facto manager of the credit union. So when the manager is not there, is you in charge. Yeah. So I was in charge. I did courses on what you call it, try to remember the word. But when you have the union and you have the management and you have the industrial dispute. I did course on
industrial resolution.
Yes. In all of those things, I did courses on management. I did courses on I could do accounting. I did some of that at university. So I was quite equipped, I would say, when I became principal, unlike many. Nowadays they have principals, seminars, and so on. But I had all those things. Plus all the little children that it asked me, and I give them the foolish answer from all that primary school. So I had those kind of preparation going into the job. I was in the Maths Association. I did a lot of work in that Maths Association. I went to Leeds University, and one of the things we did was project management. We visited all the schools over there, and you saw trends. That was before I became a principal. So some of them, a little booklet that I had gotten from Leeds that I amended and designed for my school, and it became our little handbook. So it's not that I went in there and just all of a sudden get bright. I had a background and I was quite curious. I wanted to know everything. I always wanted to know everything. So the fact that you can build a house don't mean I can't build it, because you learn to do it, and therefore I could learn.
As a principal, what was the relationship between you and the auxiliary staff?
Me and them wrap up.
I figure that. That's the belly of the school.
The caretaker and I used every evening, me and him chat, and we drink. I used to have soup. They make the soup for me in the canteen. And me and him share with soup every evening, and we chat and so on.
Good, man. Very good.
When I went to Leeds, you get loans the first ever go so far. And I wrote to people. I wrote to the ancillary workers too. I wrote to everybody.
Wow.
My ancillary workers never joined the union.
That is special.
Yeah. That's why I asked the question,
As you say that though, can you just give us a little thing on the OD?
The OD, well,
she never excited about it. That may I tell you. She never excited about it.
No, I don't know, something probably wrong with me, but I don't write it down anywhere. I don't. It is, though I don't want to talk about it because the people who recommended may feel that I'm ungrateful.
Why?
But it's just.
But it was a distinction given for education.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's an honor. That's one of the highest honor can give to you.
That somebody was watching, somebody was looking.
Other than giving you a rocking chair.
What was happening?
No. Many principals get it,
Okay.
Many principals get OD. So, I mean, I don't know, you know. So you become qualified. They recommend you, and if you are qualified, you get it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I don't think, but so the people who recommended me felt that I was qualified. You get it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you were.
Yeah.
And you are still.
Yes.
You are
So
still.
it does not make me stand out amongst other principals because there are many principals who get OD. So
But at least you know that somebody was looking and appreciating.
Yes, and it means that my past students feel that I should, you know,
Yeah.
and it was an honor for them to think
Your
that
past
of
students, them love you, because I can tell you, I got chewed out by one of your past students because,
me.
yeah, I had him on my list as contact, but he wasn't on my broadcast list. So he never received the flyer that went out, so you were coming on. But you should be listening now. Because
Who that? Who that?
I can't call him name. I'm saying enough to call him name after we told him name. He will call you and tell you.
and the one that sort of fits that would probably be Wavell.
No comment.
I know you're not
I
commenting.
plead the fifth. Where I'm at, I can plead the fifth.
Let me tell you about Wavell. Wavell Hines, you see? Wavell is a loyal person. Loyal to the T. Right? And you know, he was a footballer and a cricketer. He was captain of both teams. Wavell say, I don't know what happened. Him come through the gate and must have faced with the security guard at the gate. And I tell the football coach, he's not to play. No, remember the captain, you know. I said, he's not playing any match. No, I go to the stadium. Who is there warming up? No, Wavell. I don't know if the coach did not tell him that is out of order behavior. He could not. Because, you know, Wavell is a man who, he's just a leader. He can't help it. And so, as a principal, my job was to make sure that he remained in school and not asked to leave.
Yeah.
Based on his leadership qualities, which is something that you ought to cultivate. But the school system does not accommodate that kind of thing. You know?
True.
I have to just try to hold him and try to make him finish school because you know that I'm going to big thing. So when I went to the stadium, there is this boy warming up. So I called the coach. Nobody don't know what I said to the coach, you know. But me ear said the coach from the other team and all, I said nobody couldn't deal with him. Them don't know what I said to the coach, you know. I remember one particular coach, me this the man and thing, but that was not true. I called him and I said, what is Wavell warming up? Who been warming up? We had an arrangement, you know. Wavell's story is that every time when he went to the stadium, him just here, warm up, and then the next thing him here, bench. Then him here, warm up, then him here, bench. And he had no idea what that was all about. So he got teased by the other footballers. But they didn't know. But the coach and I knew. And if anything went out, it's the coach's fault. Right? Coach. So although he was such a good player, I was not going to tolerate that kind of behavior.
Yeah, man, you have to put the discipline down. And
we from the first time I became principal, he and I had a problem because his shirt was not a khaki shirt. And I tell him that that is not a khaki shirt. I'm not to wear it back.
It was a silk,
So I don't
silk
remember.
color shirt, right?
It was different.
Oh.
So I see him about a week after. Him think I forget. And I put him to sit down in front of the office. And I had him there the whole day. Then him for lunch and there the whole day. I never say a word to him. And you know, I don't leave early. And everybody leaving and going home and him just one then walk to him, you know. But in the end, he lived in Portmore and I lived in Portmore. So I took him home. Him shocked. So we got a chance to talk.
True.
And then the discipline came after. So he knew, because my idea of discipline is, you know, you can't tell somebody don't do this. Punish him for something. And then don't tell him what he must do.
Yeah.
So when he leaves your presence, he's supposed to know, what should I do in order to be in favor, in order to be treated as somebody who is obeying the rules or just somebody who's doing the right thing. Because some of them just don't know. Anyway, Wavell did not like outsiders coming to sixth form.
Okay.
Certain schools them think that you mustn't come because if Casey man them come there and when champs time and so them have them Casey side, that is a no-no. Can't do that. And I'm like that too. Don't come there and tell me you're going to cheer for somebody else because if it was one thing, you know, that I would be punished for it. I would have kicked them out just for that, you know.
Yeah.
So I remember this girl come there and the girl, it was some school business. And I don't know if she said Wavell with her up, something like that. So I asked her, when she come and she talking and Wavell is there and I'm listening, I said, what you want to do? What would you feel good about doing? I said, you want to wet him up? She said, yes, miss. I said, all right. Go buy the orange juice and come back. And I said, wet him. Wet, maybe I'd white shirt them here. You know? I said, wet him. And we said, hello. I said, wet him. I said, wet him. And the girl wet him up. I said, you feel good now? She said, yes. I said, all right. And I have him sitting down outside the office. And a little boy come now, like a first farmer, you know, come to say that a girl doing something. I'm inside and I'm hearing. Here we will. No make nobody see your ball. No make them see your ball. Wipe up your face and go on back. A woman power in this school, yeah. A woman power. I'll never forget that. That is what him tell the poor little boy. So little boy wipe his tears. Eh?
That must have been rough on him.
And because, yeah, man. But I mean, he and I are still very close, you know. Because we went through all those things, you know. We were Wavell's last year in school. He was not allowed to sit the exam at school, you know.
Why?
I told him, no circumstance will he be allowed to sit the exam. So I think it was Bridgeport Community College. He and another one sat their exams and he arranged for the papers and all those things to go there and things like that. He was in a fight. He was in a fight. So it was three of them. And I said, no, you can't come here and try to mash up the school. And then the other group that they were fighting against, no. I think two of them are allowed to come and do their exam, but the mothers have to come and supervise them. I said, I have to come supervise them, you know, because I don't have the time for that. As a matter of fact, is the police are going to call. So we arrange up with the police, you know, and the parents have to come and wait until the police come and hand over to the police and all the things they have to them, just to make them life difficult, you know. But you have to, that's why I think that the Lord was good to me, you know. The Lord was really good to me because I only think of them something there on the spot. you know, and sometimes I've done it with other boys that are out of order. The parents must come and sit in the class and help the teacher.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Flavius. No, you see why? Hey, if I had known her way back in my time, I'd have figured, say, boy, she and Zach make up a manual, you know.
Of course.
Because the part where she mentioned with having Wavell sitting out at the office door until after school and him still out, you know, that happened to about 3 of us already at starts. And Zach passed away like say, boy, we never even sit down on the bench. Him just keep going in and out, you know, wherever he was going. And it's when time ready for him to leave, him say, you come, take this and that and carry it to my car.
Yes.
And him left with still a wonder him to say anything to us until the next day. You understand me?
Yes, that is a good punishment, you know. Use that all the time. There's a boy, them was thief in bag. You know, the John Sport.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We couldn't find out who thief in the bag. And, you know, I suspected this boy. He didn't know why I called him. This boy is a rich boy, you know. That is not common to Camperdown. This boy had money. The boy say, first thing why I suspected him say, I must ask everybody if them ever see him leaving with more than one bag. And I said, why did he say that? And I was puzzled. And I had the boy outside the office, and every now and again I call him in. Hello?
Yeah,
Hello?
we're here. Yeah, we're here.
Every now and again I called him inside. And we talk about everything under the sun. Every time I had a free time. Know about him, girlfriend, know everything I know about him. And then after everybody gone, we talk about the bag. You know what he did? He wrapped up the bag, threw all of the books and wrapped up the bag and put in his own. And that is why I'm leaving on one bag.
Okay.
And that was what caught my attention, that he said it's only one bag.
Him give himself, I never know.
Right. I used to do them. I tell you, I played a lot of pranks on them. I remember this boy pissed me off with the security guard. And I used to have a video camera out at the gate.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them coming in and then put them bag over them face so that them don't see them and all them things. Right? So I don't want to really snitch on the security guard. So what I did was I asked him if he knew who the person was, and he said yes. And he told me, and I found the guy. So the guy out there, same story, and I said that, do you know what the video camera does? Yes, miss. What it does? You pitch on it, miss. I said, that's all? I think it know what you say, miss. I say, So you don't think the video camera would record what you're saying when you're coming through the gate? Yes, miss. I said, so tell me what you said when you're coming through the gate. You can't. I said, I would like to know. Because the camera, I said, what do you think I do at the end of each day? You check it, miss. I said, okay. And what do you think I would have heard when you came through? Cousin bad word, miss. I said, who your cousin bad word with? The security guard. So you see, you can catch them in them own thing.
Yeah.
While is the security guard tell me?
Yeah, boy.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You go to assembly, you say, somebody called you from downtown. Somebody called me and said 2 girls in Camperdown uniform was doing so and so and so and so. Now, I am not going to call the name of the person, But if the persons come to me by themselves, I will think about mercy. But if me have to find you, it's a different story. By the time assembly done, the two girls reach.
Let me tell you, Flavius, that has to be
You don't
that
have
has
to
to be
do
a
anything.
manual from she and Zach.
Zach, yeah, man.
Yeah.
No, that's a Zach thing. That's a Zach
That's
thing.
a Zach thing too.
Yeah, man. Mm-hmm.
You hear about some boy gambling in the bathroom. Call the boy them. I say, I want you to sit down out there and whatever you were doing in the bathroom, I want you to do it now. Them just sit down there not doing anything. I said, I would like you to do what you were doing in the bathroom. Gone and come. I said, what are you disobeying the principal? No, miss. I say, so them look and say, boy, it look like she's serious, you know. And then go down with them card and me go for a video camera that not working. And I just video them, you know. Not a thing with being videoed. Then to sit down.
Good.
I said, no. I need your parents to come and view what you do. No, miss. I said, what do you mean? And then give me the whole story. I get everybody who was there, everything.
Mm-hmm.
You get everything. So
Yeah, some
you
FBI
have to,
movements, that, you know.
yeah. You have to think like them. You have to think like them.
Yes. Yes.
Video camera, call a little out of the boy and say, come look through this. And say, way, a spine glass, I call it. You see, way down the bottom of the field, you know. And you see everybody. Then you know them name is? I said, you have to know the name and know what the bag look like and know how them walk and so on. So I can find them when I'm ready to find them. And say, rotted. I forgot to tell so-and-so. You see, after that, every time I come out of my office and I put that thing to my eye, nobody's there. Everybody gone to class. You have to use tactics on them, you know. You see that boy that was doing the gambling? He left school and he came back and he asked me, you know, if I still have the thing.
Still have the video.
So it has been on his mind. I don't have no video. Because there was never one.
So what video are you talking about?
I said, listen, you go make sure you behave in yourself so that I don't have to use that video ever again. But you know, the boys are different. Boys are really different. And that was my emphasis because I felt that I was cheating them because then mostly female parents alone, and then we have principal and vice principals as females. So yeah, I was always conscious of that. I may have overdone it, but I was very conscious. I remember my last days, fifth form, I used to have a meeting with the boys, and we just chat about all kind of something, you know, and how to go forward and how they're going to do better and so on. Because I learned from my son, and my son tell me, when you reach perform, you just feel bad. So you know you're not coming back. Nobody can do you nothing. I didn't tell me that.
So became on the way how to figure say if you just go out with all of the body.
Yes. So I used to tell them that when you come for a recommendation, what's the first thing people will remember? They're going to remember about the last thing you did. You know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and when you start school, you're really writing your recommendation from first form. And you must make sure whatever you want on that recommendation is what you do. So I used to have those and how they should support each other and so on, you know. And the team song for fifth form was, I just can't give up now. I've come too far, you know?
Yeah.
That was its fifth form team song. And I felt proud of my boys because when you see the graduation thing, move from like about 20% boys to 50% and more. It was hovering around that. And first to fifth form, the top 10 students were boys. And even sixth form, we had more boys than girls. So I felt good. And I told you about how the registrar at the university called me because he was wondering how it is that so many of my students, remember you asked me about the grades and how they did very well, and I said no. Many of them got threes at fifth form, and yet they were able to do so well at sixth form, especially in the sciences. Those things don't just come about by chance, you know. It is by design. So you have a whole heap of children. When I left, we had the largest contingent of students from any school in the island being accepted at university.
Yeah. That's true.
Wow.
So I don't know if that is a measure that you would use of success, but I think that it is not right to be judging schools by percentage pass and all them something. It's a whole heap of students pass exams in those years, you know, from in the 90s going on to the 2000s. There's enough children in my school because we couldn't accommodate the number of children that were wanting to come to our sixth form because their school didn't have a sixth form. So what I used first, I would admit, after we admit Camperdown people, if any space, you would take in some students from schools without a sixth form. Those got preference over that had a sixth form. Because it was just like an explosion of children, and then people talking about the education system bad and so on. Because the percentages, but you have to look at the numbers. There's a whole heap of children that did well, a whole heap of them. And
no. Go. What I was gonna say. The reason why I asked you that question to the graduating class is because the way you emphasize on fifth form and sixth formers, you know, it's like you want those set of students, because even though you have them coming up through first form all the way to sixth form, to make sure that they cap off their departing, you know, time from Camperdown in a good fashion. You understand me? So even you have some people, they in third or fourth form, they would buckle up until maybe when them realize, boy, they either might repeat fourth form and, you know, them no want to come back again. They want to just make sure, say, boy, if any repeat, because I have friends who wanted to repeat fourth form based on reason that him can play another year of Sunlight or Manning Cup or him do tracks. But there are those who they don't want to repeat, period. They just want to get out because them see the repeat as a way of holding them back. And then we go to a teacher and say, what should I do? You know, when I get to fifth form, should I just try get all of my O levels them and then go to CAS or UWI? The teacher will say, it depends on how you want to assess yourself. Maybe you want to do 5 now and then try go to sixth form and do maybe another 2 and then 2 A levels as well. So that's
and
why
some of them may be like me. Some of them may be like me.
Exactly.
Academics is important to me. You know, although it is important, and because I know it is important, that is why I emphasized it when I was because I know I just wanted to go to school and have a good time. And many of the children are like that. So you have to help them and guide them through the myriad of outcomes. You know, to really select what they want to do. And so it's kind of difficult because I say I don't know what I want to do. Well, I know that I'm chatting to them. I think probably I need to do storytelling.
Well, you see,
because I like that.
It brings me to our final minute with you now, because neither one of us wants to be the first to say goodbye. Flavius don't want to tell you goodbye. I don't want to tell you goodbye. You have to notice me, I use a song element on you. like when I said might have broken.
I want you just saying goodbye.
So neither one of us.
I hate to see you go. Yes.
But we're going to talk after the year, because Flavius and I want to talk to you after the year. So we're going to talk after the year, you know, about something, you know, how to keep you on the track of telling some stories. So we're going to talk to you after the year. All right. So Flavius, you want to wrap it up here with me?
Yeah, man. It has been a great pleasure again, and you will find out that it won't be the last time. We definitely hope that you will be back many more times, because I don't think we're scratching the surface. I really don't think we're scratching the surface.
Well, every time I say something, a number of other things come to mind. So I have to choose which one I must say.
Yeah, that is it. Yeah. We're scratching the surface, man. But time is something that we have. We have a lots of days. Every day, every weekday we are here. So time is not a problem. We have time and space. But I want to say thank you very much for being here with us again.
You're welcome.
I know our listeners would have enjoyed this tremendously. Yeah, Franco.
Yes, and so with that, I say thank you again, Cynthia, for taking time out. Hold the line, don't go off. So for all of you out there who are viewing and listening, we thank you also for taking time out of your busy schedule and for spending some time with us this morning with our guest, Cynthia P. Cooke. So we ask you to take care of yourself, your loved one. Remember, prayer changes things regardless of what religion you belong to. Continue to pray. And, take care of your neighbors and your loved ones as well. So as Pam Hall would say,
well, unfortunately, this is it. Till next time. Bless.
And Tafina to take us out.
All you gotta do is just speak. One word is enough, and I'm no longer so rough. I forget what I was trying to say. I no longer do what I was gonna do, but you're no good for me. That's why me do what set me if it could flee. Me have to take away me say. Me have to take away me say. Me have to hide like a thief in the night. Me have to get out outside. Me have to take away myself. Have to take away myself. I have to utilize I weeds. Surely I cleave your eyes. I said, yeah. I find you very hard to resist. But this relationship I'm gonna desist. But how can I face you when all I wanna do is just taste you? I know you think I play me, but soon you're gonna see the light of day. Just relax, don't move an inch. I'll be gone in a pinch. May I feel take away myself. May I feel take away myself. May I feel hide like a thief in the night. May I forget out outside. May I feel take away myself. Take away myself. I have to utilize I will. Surely I are clean berries. I say, yeah.
Well, unfortunately, this is it. Till next time. Bless.
Don't need it again, yeah. I'm not a masochist who won't play your game, yeah. To all you move, you off me way to the core. Sayonara, that girl gone through the door. Take away